Molly, creator of MakeItAsADogTrainer.com, and I have a quick story to share with you and a couple of really important tips that I think are super important for right now with the way things are going in the world, and I'll explain. So there's this place that we love to go on vacation. We've been going there for like 21 years, almost every year, and it's one of our favorite places in the world. It's this little island off the coast of Virginia, cute little beach town, very kind of rustic, older beach houses. So we were just staying this last week in one of those older houses. So while we were there, our 3 kids were sitting around and they're playing in between, trips to the beach and doing different things like that and eating ice cream and stuff. And there was all of a sudden, this loud sound that scared the pants off of them. I mean, like they were just startled beyond belief at this loud sound. Had no idea where it was coming from, what it was. It's just a really obnoxious loud ringing. So they look at the source of this sound and find this strange looking white plastic thing. And of course, we knew what it was. It's a landline telephone. We haven't heard one in years. We haven't used one in years. And my oldest is 12 and they've never seen one. They've never heard one. Obviously, technology has changed a lot in the last however long, just keeps progressing faster and faster, it seems like. And that kind of leads into something that I wanted to talk about today, which is something that's called disruptive technology, which is a term you might have heard, which basically is when something comes out of nowhere sometimes and seems to change the way everything is done from that point on. So one thing keeps coming up over and over and over in questions in my inbox and in my email. It's come up a lot more often in the last year, which is, should I have an online program? I'm looking into doing more virtual stuff. I want to create this online course. I want to limit my face-to-face dog training business a little bit and do more virtual things. Or should I just do more online in general? Like, should I do Zoom lessons or whatever? So I wanted to talk about this because doing anything online can be a little daunting and scary or overwhelming, and you might not even really feel like you have time for it. But usually dog trainers who are interested in this want to do that because they want to supplement or enhance their dog training programs, their face-to-face businesses, and they want to save time. So since the pandemic, obviously everything kind of got fast forwarded. What would be weird a couple years ago is now just super normal. Meeting on Zoom, homeschooling is much more common, and it doesn't seem to be slowing down at all. Like Zoom itself went from like 10 million average daily users before the pandemic to 300 million a couple months later. And it hasn't slowed down since then. In fact, their revenue for 2021 is supposed to be like skyrocketed compared to 2020. So it just keeps going up and up. And that's just an example of how things are these days. So whether you do anything online with virtual training or using Zoom or creating videos or creating online courses or not, it's important that you at least know how these things work and you know what's going on, because if you don't keep up with how things work, then you fall behind. One story that we just read recently was what happened with the company Kodak with photography. They actually created their first digital camera in 1975, and it was kind of like a hush secret thing. They didn't market it, they didn't do anything with it. But then once digital photography got to be popular, they started getting more into it. But because all of their profit came from film, they were reluctant to really dive into that. And then they got left behind. They got replaced by other companies in the photography world because other people did digital cameras better than them, because they were reluctant to let go of the whole film industry profit, which eventually dissipated, and they filed for bankruptcy in 2012, I think it was. So things like that happen if you're kind of reluctant to grasp or grab a hold of these disruptive technologies that happen. So virtual coaching and programs and coaching courses and things like that, creating all of those might be super daunting to you. Like, where do I even start? Do I record videos of me training dogs? Who's going to hold the camera? Do I need to learn video editing? Where do I put these videos? On an online library for people to log into, or just on YouTube? Like, what on earth? Where do I even start? But teaching dog training online does not have to be super complicated. Even just adding a couple of things to your business and the way you do things can save you tons of time and really not be that hard at all. So I wanted to give you a couple of tips of things that will do just that. Save you hours and hours and hours right away that you can implement immediately without it being super complicated. And then I'll also tell you how you can learn more about this topic if you would like. So tip number 1 is to make sure that anything that you have to repeat over and over and over in your dog training business now, that you record that stuff. and you make it easily available to your clients right now. And that thing that you record to save you time can also eventually become something that you sell. So here's an example. As you might know, Jason and I have been creating online courses and programs and selling them worldwide for over a decade, even way before it was normal, and even to dog owners. How that originally started was years and years ago. I realized that there was one thing that I had to repeat a lot in my dog training business, and that was how to housebreak a dog. How to do all the scheduling stuff, how to crate train, how to handle things when, different circumstances come up, and all these different variables. So instead of reteaching that over and over for my dog training clients, who usually 99% of the time needed more than just housebreaking, I decided I would write that stuff down. It eventually became an ebook that I also sold to the general public or to people who contacted me and that they were just completely convinced that housebreaking was the only thing they needed. So I would just sell them that $27 ebook. That $27 ebook eventually became a $97 video course. But at first, it started off with me just writing down everything I had to repeat all the time, so I didn't have to repeat it anymore. I did the same thing with my kind of orientation lesson for my dog owners for their first lesson, the things that I had to say every single time I had a first lesson. It was like, 20, 30 minutes of information of orientation stuff that I just recorded, and I'd have them watch it before the first lesson. Saved a ton of time. So the first thing you should do is look for ways to save time and supplement what you're already doing by recording it or writing it down or using some kind of technology thing so that you can save that time with every single client you have. Again, supplement and enhance your face-to-face dog training business with some technology stuff. The second tip has to do with something that I'm sure you have experienced yourself. I used to go to dog training lessons and I'd be gone, going off to their houses. I'd be gone for like 3 hours. I'd come home and Jason would be like, "How's the dog training lesson?" And I'd say, "Oh, it was great. It was easy. They just had a couple of questions, just, troubleshooting a couple little things." And then we spent the majority of the time just kind of chit-chatting and having coffee. Drive there for an hour, do the lesson, be there for an hour so they didn't feel like it was a waste of time, and come home. 3 hours for something that could have been done in a Zoom call, and it would have been normal to do it in a Zoom call these days. So now, if it was today, that's what I would have done. I would have met on Zoom some of the time to kind of troubleshoot and do some of the easy stuff, answer questions, and then say, you know what, here's how you handle this and this and this, but next time I see you face to face, let's work on that stuff that we need hands-on for. So then the next lesson would be planned out a little bit more. We would be able to cover the things that they needed help with in the meantime through Zoom, save them time, save me time, save tons of effort for everybody, and everybody's happier. But the trick here is that you can't really offer Zoom lessons as part of your business if it's viewed by your clients as something they're settling for. Like they're viewing it as less access to you instead of more. So that is a marketing thing. That has something to do with how you describe that particular feature of your dog training programs. If you start implementing some virtual lessons into your programs, it has to be described correctly, or they view it as they're getting less access to you instead of more. So that, the marketing side of anything that you do that's virtual, is one of the things that we're going to be covering in this month's Marketing Monthly episode. So this month's episode the whole workshop is going to be about online programs, the behind the scenes of teaching dog training virtually. So what is the Marketing Monthly workshop? Well, it's one of the huge perks of the Make It as a Dog Trainer Thrive Tribe. It's a monthly workshop and it's a live Q&A. It's about an hour deep dive on a new topic every single month, often voted on or requested by members based on what's happening in the industry now and relevant now. Principles and how-tos about everything from advertising, website design and content, making more in half the time, and so many things we see going on in the lives and businesses of dog trainers. It's fun, interactive, quick, jam-packed, super impactful, often drastically changing dog trainers' businesses overnight. The Thrive Tribe itself has tons of other perks as well, including the Marketing System for Dog Trainers course and a library of podcasts and ebooks. You can go here to learn more about the Thrive Tribe on makeitasadogtrainer.com and click on Join the Tribe. And once you're in, you can cancel easily right online with just a couple clicks without ever even having to contact us. So that's it for now. Thank you again so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the tribe, and I'll see you during the workshop.